Stop chasing. Look, it's Marcel, aka Honey Bunny Sunny, and I'm on a mission to make you some money. Listen, today we have a video that's going to get you paid this week. Okay, I have 3 stock picks that could potentially make you thousands if you play your cards right. All right, now before we get into it, hit the subscribe button if you want to continue to get value every Sunday for watch lists and all throughout the week for updates, wisdom, and just general information on the stock market. Okay, now today's stocks, I just go rapid fire on them. Okay, is MSTY, Nvidia, and Hood. Okay, we got MSTY, Nvidia, and we got Hood. All right, and in just a second, I'm gonna show you exactly why. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm seeing from my lens. I want you to go back, do your research, see if you're seeing the same thing, and then Monday is game time. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. You know, it take a couple of seconds for for this recording software to beep. So y'all probably hear the little beep to let me know we're ready. But the first stock that I'm going to have pulled up for you guys is MSTY, right? MSTY, as you can see right here, is getting beat up. I ain't gonna lie. That joint, listen, it's getting beat up, right? If it was a fight going on, right, this stock is been losing, right? But the beautiful thing about the stock market is that nothing lasts forever. Now that could be a terrible thing depending on how you're positioned, but it can be an amazing thing if you keep that perspective when something that you want to enter is down or when something that you're already in is down, right? You just got to kind of broaden your scope and exercise patience. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of background about MSTY. MSTY is it's a yield max fund, right? The company Yield Max does a bunch of covered call strategies to provide income to people who want to make income on a monthly or weekly basis based off of the covered calls of a particular security. In this particular case, the security that the covered calls are being sold on, are it's MSTR, which the company's name is now Strategy. It used to be MicroStrategies, but now it's just Strategy Inc. Okay, so MSTY is a strategy used or a fund used to provide income to people. So I own this. A lot of people in my group own this, and we're making money on the monthly basis. Matter of fact, I just got a check on Friday, right, from MSTY from the shares. It's paying out right now. It's paying out about $1 a share. You know what I mean? So it's still great money, but at its height, it paid out like $4. But because MSTR is the stock in which MSTY creates its strategy from, we know that MSTR, which is Strategy Inc., is boosted up when Bitcoin is doing well. It performs well when Bitcoin is doing well because it's the biggest holder of Bitcoin. Okay, so the reason that MSTY, what I'm looking at right now, is being beat down is because crypto hasn't been performing that well. It's been dumping. And then if you look here, you'll see that on Thursday it gapped down. Why did it gap down on Thursday? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? The natural cycle of MSTY is to drop or have some sort of sell-off on the day that it pays out dividends. So or typically it's like the day before it pays out dividends. So it paid out the dividend on Friday, or wait, it might have been Thursday. I can't remember. It's either Thursday or Friday it paid out the dividend, and you saw that big drop. So that big drop was partially people selling off from that because a lot of people just tend to get out of it, once they get their dividend and then they go put the money somewhere else. So there is a large volume that comes in that causes the stock to drop. But then there's also the fact that crypto just hasn't been performing. Right. And then in addition to that, we haven't fully processed what's going on in the Fed. We've had, 2 talks from the Fed, from Powell, right, and haven't really been able to fully process what this means for the market. Also, September is just historically, like a bearish month. So it's a lot of things that are pointing at this being down. So it's like I got a lot of people in the group like, oh, should I sell out? Should I get out? It's just like, you know, I understand this, right? Look, I'm looking straight at you, okay? I know how it feels to feel like, damn, my timing is always off. Like every time I get something, like I might get a little bit of a profit, I don't sell, and then it goes against me. I understand how you feel, but I want to remind you that you are not getting in at a bad time. You're not making bad decisions. The reason that you got into something is because you studied it, you trusted it, you looked at the financial statements, you did your fundamental analysis, you did your technical analysis. Now, just because something pulls back or draws down doesn't mean that it's not going to do really well down the road. It really just depends on your perspective. So me, I'm an owner of MSTY. So when I see it go down, I just look at it as an opportunity to get more shares to create more future income from the dividend. And I also know that eventually it will retrace just like all the other stocks do. The reason that it's down is because crypto's down. When crypto goes into a super bull run, as it will, we will see Bitcoin hitting 200 plus thousand. We will see Ethereum and some of these other big coins hitting like, you know, highs that we didn't even expect. It's happened before time and time again. And it's always this period of it being down. So you got to understand how that works. All right. So back to it. This huge gap right here in MSTY needs to be filled. How do I know that it's getting ready to come up? Well, we have a bearish harami, right? If you don't know what a bearish harami is, it's a reversal pattern. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it and understand it. Make sure you go and do some homework and understand what that is, because it's a really good way to identify a change in direction. All right, so we got the bearish harami. So that means that we should be seeing a reversal pattern. Bullish harami, y'all. Bullish harami, not bearish harami. Bullish harami. Okay, I don't know why I keep saying bearish, but it's bullish harami. All right, back to it. What I would like to see is a break above back into this Bollinger Band and Keltner channel, which is also coincidentally the start of the gap fill, right? So if I can see a break into that, that'll make me very bullish on MSTY. And as you can see, this is like, like a dollar gap, which is really substantial on a stock that is priced so low. All right, so MSTY, definitely keep it on your radar. Look for a break above the $14 level to start looking for entries and calls. And this is a home one stock right here. All right, so the next one we have on the list is Nvidia, right? So y'all know about Nvidia. Nvidia is all in the news, right? It's a hot stock. It's been a hot stock. It did a stock split, a long time ago, but it was a time where it was approaching, I think it was like $700-800 going to $1,000. Then it split, right? Nvidia is just a really good company, and it's not a meme company. Even though it has this great popularity, it is a real solid company that does great business and makes very smart, sound, and strategic moves, right? Strategic investments, right? So recently, Nvidia made a huge bet or huge investment in OpenAI, right? Nvidia is what, if not the biggest company on the planet, it's definitely revolves within the top three, right? It's making huge investments. I'm talking about, multi-billion-dollar investments in companies that are going to be the companies of the future, specifically AI companies, even more specifically OpenAI, right? I believe it was a $13 billion investment in OpenAI, right? The space of AI, like them working in tangent with the physical side of AI and then the digital side of AI, just makes for a recipe of explosion, right? They're not letting anything that's going to be a part of the future go and fly under their radar. They either come in and buying it up, or they're partnering, or they're investing in their actual portfolio, okay? So Nvidia is just a solid company that will be around. Now, if you guys have watched my video about the 25K swing strategy, you'll see that I have these Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels positioned on the chart. Now, these Bollinger Bands up here indicate the cycles in which you know, stocks just kind of like go up and down, which is volatility, right? And up here where we can see that the Bollinger Band and Keltner channel has a cross, usually there's a 30-day cycle of a mean reversion. Sometimes it happens in a week cycle, right? But I typically get like a 30-day swing on something once it's tapped the Bollinger Band, and then I play it to the downside or I play it to the upside depending on, which side it's on, right? So it could be here, it could be here. Now, also remember how I drew these little blue boys right here because we have a version, when I make this real skinny, we have a version of a head and shoulder pattern. I know it's kind of hard to see, but if you make this skinnier, you see that there's like a down shoulder right here, and then a neckline, right? It's a reverse head and shoulders, a very bullish pattern. Now, follow me. I drew this line right here because it was creating this trend, this downtrend line right here, because it was creating a short-term downtrend. Now, this could have continued down here and continued down here, but it didn't. Right here on September 22nd, it broke out, right? It broke out, it went and it retested, it went and tested highs again, right? It went and made a test on highs. Now, it came and it pulled back, as you can see with these two red candles, and what did it do? It retested this trend line, right? It retested it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, closed above it, and then it came again and retested it and again closed above it, right? Just on Friday after coming below it, right? So we have a lot of buying pressure in this zone right here, right? Which is also where the trend line falls. Now, since it came and retested that trend line, now it is saying, since it fails to go below, that it wants to go higher, right? We don't fully have confirmation just yet, but if we can get above previous day highs with a bullish candle with a very little wick, right? Like not a ton of pressure that's saying that it wants to sell off, we could be going to retest highs up here at 184.50, and then we could break above and then go off and make new highs. So the way that I'd like to play this is a simple breakout, right? Either a breakout, right? Will we get a close on the daily above highs, take the next day's candle, or a breakout, let a couple days go by and see if it comes back and retest that high level, right? If it does come back and retest that high level and then forms another reversal signal saying that it wants to go back up, you bet your bottom dollar that this one is going clean into the 200s. Okay, so this is a beautiful setup on NVIDIA. Again, we're not jumping in it for, just a random reason. We want to make sure that we get our confirmations. So a break of highs and then the next candle, right? Significant break of highs in the next candle on the daily, or a break of highs, couple days go by, weeks go by, and then it comes back and retests highs, shows a reversal, then we enter. All right, that's how we're going to play NVIDIA. All right, and last but certainly not least, y'all, we're going to bring it home with Hood. We're going to bring it home with Hood. All right, so Hood has 2 gaps to the downside that need to be filled. Again, y'all, look at every time this Bollinger Band is tapped, it comes down, right, substantially to the mean, which is this middle band. It's called a mean reversion. Hood is in the process of a mean reversion, right? Tap that, come down right here. Tap that, come down right here. Tap that, came down right here. Dropped even below it, right? Tap that, came down right here. You see, this stuff is repeatable, right? I'm not telling you something randomly. This is stuff that you can go and prove to yourself. So we tapped that, and then we came down. So I'm going to give you the 2 scenarios that can happen. We are right here, and it did have a bearish engulfing, meaning that Friday had a bigger red candle than the previous day and engulfed the entire body of this candle. So that is bearish. That means it wants to come down. We also have a tiny little gap right here that it needs to clean up. Now, here's what can happen. It can bounce right here, go up and retest highs again and be like, I'm not ready to come down yet. It could bounce here, go up, retest highs, and then come back down. Or it could come and close this gap up, and then that could lead to it further slipping even more, because if you look at this, there's no red here, meaning there's no reversal, there's no interruption. So it has room all the way down here to the psychological level of 112. Well, not, I'm sorry, 112.50, right? Say 49, but give or take, as you know, when you on a daily, you can't really, sometimes you can't get the exact level, but it's 112.50 is what the level is, right? 50s and whole dollars are psychological levels. Remember that. You'll see a lot of times that things stop and reverse and change directions at a 50 or a dollar, right? So it has room all the way down to 112.50. So it could come down there and bounce. We're talking about that's a whole $8 move right there, whole $8, $9 move, right? It could slip even further and come and clean this second gap up, right? It can come and clean this gap up and really come down and retest this support zone right here. So what I would like to see is a break into this gap and then a failure of this gap for entry down to this next gap for like a $7 to $8 move. Beautiful setup for a beautiful trade. You just want to make sure that you are doing it properly. We're not getting into anything randomly. We are letting these levels get broken, and then we are taking our entry when we get that confirmation, okay? I'm going to go ahead and close this out, all right? Tried and true. You want to make sure that you are getting confluent. So I've just given you a bunch of reasons why these things could work out. As you are making decisions about whether you're going to enter it or not, make sure you have some confluence. Make sure the volume supports it, right? Make sure that there's order flow coming into that particular stock, right? Make sure that there's not a ton of news that's saying that this, is not going to happen this week, right? Read price action, right? Let's make sure that we own it. I see all of y'all growing each and every week. And I'm not going to lie, it makes me inspired, right? It's like it gives me reason to keep showing up, right? So I want y'all to keep doing that. I've been getting late night messages on YouTube in the group. I've been getting messages. I've been getting Facebook, Instagram messages, and I'm seeing that everybody is trying. Everybody is doing what they got to do to make that pivot into the next part of their life. And I love it, okay? Let's keep it up. Remember, invest smart and live free. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.